Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. But I know how busy you are, so I just want to thank you for that, especially knowing you have a flight tomorrow. Thank you so much for taking out the time, because I love the work that you do, have been a long-term respecter. And I do want to tell you a very important story that I was first introduced to you through a glass of whiskey, and literally at a friend's home here in LA. And he introduced me. He said, and I said, I'm a whiskey sour girl. If I'm going to do whiskey, I'm not doing like a whiskey neat. I've never like tried that. He said, you got to try this. I said, okay, I'll do it for you. I tasted it. I said, oh, this is smoky and like it's giving me like this really warm, like endearing feel. He said, and it's by a Black woman. I said, it's not. He's like, it is. I said, it's not. Stop playing. And that was the beginning of him telling me a bit about you and me learning your story, and then kind of following your journey along the way. So I just want to tell you that the work is doing the work.
Oh,
From
I love
every
that.
cup has a story. It's
Yeah,
remarkable to see how a glass of whiskey can bring together a community and also the storytelling behind it. So
yeah.
it's working near and far. So, for Great Girlfriends, for those of you who are unfamiliar, which I find impossible at this point, I want to connect you to one of 6 Black women in America to found a $1 billion organization, a company, which I think is so freaking major. And doing it with the intentionality and the integrity that brings everyone to the page, her Instagram page, where she shares so much inspiration daily. And she also shares her journey of building this company, of loving her husband, of loving community, and of also organizing and believing in the power of women doing the work. And I think it is so special, Great Girlfriends, for you to also know that alongside that, she has written this book that it almost made me miss my nail appointment, because it's such a page turner.
Yeah, yeah. People aren't expecting that. They're
No,
like, it's a book on history. I'm like, oh, there's
it's
so much.
not.
Yeah, no, it's so much
It
more.
is, you cannot judge this book by its cover. You cannot, because when you get inside the pages of this book, there are so many main characters
Yeah.
that I'm just I like by that people that I now feel familiar with by name. And I feel like it's such incredible storytelling. So I just want to first celebrate you for that. And we're going to dive into that. But before we do all of that, I do want to give your 50-word bio, and I added a few words to it really quickly.
Okay.
Fawn Weaver, CEO of Uncle Nearest, is the first Black American woman to found and lead a $1 billion plus company outside of sports and entertainment. A New York Times bestselling author, TED speaker, and Harvard certified corporate director, she serves on the board of Endeavor Group Holdings. Wife to Keith. I
Yes.
don't know how they left it out the 50 words, because
Ah,
he's part of those
my
50.
baby.
Great girlfriend to many, inspiration to all, a woman whose presence is felt through every word and intentions behind it. She's on the ultimate storytelling journey, one that brings everyone to their unique moment of revelation transformation. I do honestly believe that the work that you're doing, and you putting this book, this is your third book to be precise, yeah? Putting
Yep.
this book in front of us is a gift. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, because I do think that the heritage behind it is, I don't know if you intended for it to go as deep as it does or have the impact that it does, but it's so layered.
Yes.
It's not a
It's
woman's read. It's not a
intentional.
man's read. It's not an
Yeah.
adult read.
Yeah.
It's
Love
a
and
human
Whiskey
read.
is Yeah, Love and Whiskey is being read by people. And we should say what the title of it is, because I don't even
Yes.
think we've said that. Love and
Yes.
Whiskey is being read by everyone, every background. Men, women are having the same exact reaction to the book, which is I can't put it down. And what I've seen with a lot of reviews is people saying, I'm not really a reader of book. No disrespect, but it's just not my thing. I want to, whatever. And they're finding themselves opening up the page thinking they're going to just sort of muddle their way through it. And then 6 chapters later, they're like, wait, what just happened here?
Okay. I just felt
Yeah.
in this book and I can't get out. And that's
Yeah.
that's the experience that I have had. And I'm probably 7 chapters. I'm still in the middle of finishing the book because I had to go back and get characters that I was like, wait,
Yeah.
this person was.
That's why, did you see the key figures in the beginning of the book? That's
Yes,
why
yes,
I did that, is
yes.
so that people could remember who each person was. I mean, when I start talking about people like J&L McGowan, they're twins. That gets real confusing.
Yes.
And I, as people DM me because they got the books, and they're the cutest because they're about to turn 90 in a couple of weeks, and so they're holding up the Love and Whiskey books together and showing the pictures of themselves in it. And so it's really cool because you still have a lot of these folks that are in their 90s that are still living, 80s, 90s, and they get to be celebrated by people
Yes.
and around them, and I think that's extraordinary.
Yeah. It is, and that was one of the things that we're gonna get into when we, talk a little bit about the book, but I wanna give our audience and, me even a chance to get to know you just a little better. So we do these lightning round icebreaker questions. Is it okay if we dig a little deeper into your story?
Oh, go for it all day. Yeah.
Okay. First one, you're on a desert island,
Mhm.
right? There is
Mhm.
not a boat in sight. There is not
Okay.
a rescue raft. There is no
Okay.
opportunity. You have one phone call, and you
Mhm.
can't call Keith. Who are you calling?
Mhm. One phone call and I can't call Keith. Probably Kai Panetta.
Okay.
She's a good friend. She's a sister. She's the wife of our chaplain,
Mhm.
and she'll be here for leading Bible study in a couple of hours. So probably Kai,
Oh, that's a
because
good
then
call.
Kai can round up everybody else.
Kai's got the Rolodex. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
what is your absolute favorite meal?
Oh gosh, it changes a little bit, but at the current moment, it is definitely fried catfish and grits.
Hmm.
Yeah, hands down.
That's a good Southern meal.
Uh huh.
That's one of my favorite. I'm a Memphis girl, so I'm like, you say catfish and grits and put a little gravy in, not a gravy, but like that sauteed roux inside of the grits.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
talking
yeah. So here at Humble Baron, they do sort of this lobster. I don't know what it is that goes on top of it with. It's stupid.
Mm,
It's stupid good. Like it's literally on Sunday, I went and grabbed some, and I got 4 fillets, and they're big fillets, and I literally just ate all throughout the day and got to the end, and I had bought some cookies, and I was like, I really want these cookies. But then I had to choose between finishing my catfish. I don't only have so much room in my belly. Do you know I chose that catfish over the white chocolate macadamia nut cookies that I had a taste for? Because I mean, yeah, yeah, fried catfish
like
and
that.
grits, hands down. If it's on a menu, I'm ordering it. And then the other thing I almost always order if it's on a menu on GP is fried chicken, because I consider myself a fried chicken connoisseur. And so I've had it all around the world. And so if I see it on a menu, I want to compare it to all the other
Yeah.
fried chickens I've had. So
And that
those are
fried
probably the
chicken
two.
can be tricky, Fawn. You can run into a bad
Oh,
batch
let me
and
tell you. Let me tell you. I had some yesterday. I was like, yep, nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. And yeah, so I know my fried chicken.
goodness. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what is one thing that people would be surprised to know about you?
Oh, I don't think anything at this point because I share so much, especially on social media. I don't know if there's anything anybody would be surprised. I don't even know that I could share anything with myself that I'd be surprised by. I share because the thing is that people like to talk about my success and like to talk about who I am from that perspective, but you can't understand that without understanding every other aspect of me. So I'm
Mm.
really transparent with sharing my life on social and in my book and things of that nature.
I love that. What's one thing that surprised you about yourself as of recent that you went, "Oh, fun, wow," or
Yeah,
anything?
for the most part, that challenges just don't shake me anymore.
Mm,
Like really big challenges, even if
mhm.
it shakes me for 15 minutes, it won't really get me for longer than 15 minutes. And I'm talking about challenges that would cause most people to quit. I just, it's kind of all right. And
Mhm.
that's definitely a has come from overcoming so many challenges. I think I'm just accustomed to it. The thing I'm still trying to get to, which I'm not there yet, and I was sharing it with my sister and Keith the other day. I said, people talk about Jesus being asleep in the middle of the storm, But we don't consider the fact that it wasn't just like, I mean, we all sleep in the middle of storms, comfy in our own homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the storm that was the whole thing. It was where he was sleeping in the middle of the storm,
Mm-hmm.
which is a boat that's
Mm-hmm.
rocking.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, yeah, so it's not the being sleep in the middle of the storm that we miss. It's the fact that it is something that is agitating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the ability to just be completely unbothered in that, I'm not there yet. I'm still, real comfortable in the middle of the storm in a house.
Watching from a
I,
distance. There's the
I'm not.
storm.
I'm looking at it through the windows,
Yeah.
but I'm still far enough back that if the windows blow, I'm
Yeah.
still okay. I am not yet at the place where sleeping in a boat
Mm-hmm.
during the storm. But the key is you don't get there without practice. And
That,
so I think that the more is, as much as, I don't want to ever call for challenges,
mm-hmm.
every single time I cross over a challenge and just jump over the hurdle, the easier it is when they come.
That's facts. It's a muscle. And when
It's
you
at
exercise it,
listen,
yeah.
it's absolutely a muscle, and the best way I've described it lately, and I've had many descriptions for this over the years, but the best way I've described it lately is you put a bunch of hurdles in front of Sha'Carri Richardson. She's a bad mama jamma, but she's gonna have a problem because she doesn't train over hurdles.
Right.
But you put hurdles in front of a hurdler,
Yeah.
and they don't really see the hurdles because they're focused on jump, jump, jump.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually focused on the fact that there's a hurdle there because that's the expectation. The
Ooh,
part
that's a
that they're
sermon.
focused on mentally is what their role in it. They're never focused on the hurdle. What is their role in it mentally to be able to jump over in a rhythm? And so for me, I expect the hurdles. And I think a lot of people are so rocked whenever challenges come their way because they're expecting a smooth race. And
Yeah.
that was never promised to us.
Ever. Your most powerful words were, what is your role in the hurdle? What
Mm-hmm.
is your role in the, because we're not always meant to, be the firefighter. We're not always meant, we're not meant to fall down. Everyone has a distinguished role in the hurdle. And that is so powerful for you. I think that's the place where you get to peace, where you can stay in the boat
Absolutely.
and sway because you know your role.
Yeah. Well,
And Jesus's
when you
role
get to
was,
a place that nothing can shake you,
yeah,
that's where peace is.
yeah,
And for us, we are so rocked by external circumstances, and the number of people that I see go into entrepreneurialism and they're out of there in 12 months because the nature of entrepreneurialism is you're going to get rocked just about every single day. You are going to get battered and bruised every single day, and you have to figure out how to keep moving when things don't go according to plan. Because there's only one thing that is for certain in entrepreneurialism, and it is that nothing is going to go according to plan. And as an entrepreneur of almost 30 years, I can tell you that holds true and
yeah.
every day. But the ability to maintain peace in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of that
Mm-hmm.
that's always the goal. And so I'd probably say now I'm I'm 100% better than I was a decade ago, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be 100% better a decade from now than I am in the current moment. Because now, before I didn't like to see the storm coming at all. Now I have an expectation of the storm, but I still like to be indoors. So now the next stop is expecting the storm, being in the midst of the storm, rocking in the boat, and still sleeping like nothing is happening. That's the goal.
Oh, that's a book. That's a uh.
Yeah, well, if I get there,
Church.
I'll write the book. Like,
Right.
so ask me about this book in a decade. But this is one of
Yeah.
those kind of things you got to live it,
Yeah.
and you've got to prove it out.
Yeah.
Because if you're telling other people how to do it, do something that is proven to be almost impossible, outside of Christ. But he said, you will do greater things than I did, which means we should be able to sleep in the middle of the boat while the storm is going.
Yes. Yes. I love that so much, so much, so much. Okay. Whew, okay, this next one is a very simple, light one. What is one song that gets you going, day or night, just like gets you in the gear?
You know, it really is. It depends on the season. Right now, Transformation Worship has been putting out some killer music.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably say if you throw on Dominion, that
Mm.
like when it gets to that, I got Dominion, you got Dominion, it's a wrap
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Like I get up and I start dancing. I don't care where I am. That part comes on and it's a wrap.
Oh, I love that. I know Transformation gets it right. They really do. I feel
Yeah.
heaven touches us through their music. I'm like,
Well, without question, I actually planned on being there for the album release of Dominion this Sunday, and I could not do it and observe the Sabbath just because of my schedule.
yeah.
And I don't like being in flights on the Sabbath like that, and I got to get to Portland. But I'm quite bummed that I won't be able to be there for this album release because it just is. I try to make sure I'm there about every other month because there is
Mhm.
something really special
Mhm.
that is happening in that house that is hard to tell online, especially because there are all these people who sit around waiting for him to Pastor Mike to say something that they could chop up and make it
Right.
something out of context. And I
Mhm.
mean, they sit and just wait and wait. And
Mhm.
he's such a transparent person that
Mhm.
at some point he's going to say something you could take out of context.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
at some point, but as a person who watches every week and has been in the house, it's
Mm.
all God is really funny. Almost every single time something has happened where they come after him, I was there at the service. And I was like, first of all, he wasn't wearing that outfit. Second of all, that's not what he said in that order. Like
Right.
it
Right.
literally is,
Right.
it's fascinating to watch it. But being in that house as
Mm.
I am about every other month,
Mhm.
there's something happening in that house that isn't happening in any other house anywhere in America. And I can say
Mhm.
that even in amazing places like Potter's house, everybody
Yeah.
there is black.
Yeah.
Everybody is black.
Yep.
Every place that you go where, I mean, Sarah Jakes Roberts can tear the roof off at
Yeah.
every place, but everybody's black.
Mhm.
What's so special to me about walking in a transformation is it's every generation, it's
Mhm.
every background. You can't peg it for. I mean, the dude rocks twists,
Yes.
and look unapologetically,
Yeah. And all the
and
white
you
people are just, yes,
that
yes,
listen, it is the most
in
like
the
to
South.
be
Yeah.
it. Listen, in the South. I mean, we're in Tulsa. They
Yeah.
burned us down there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so to watch this, and you're just like, God, what are you doing
It's
here?
all God.
That this young man with twists and is always in some kind of, Jordans or
Everything.
limited edition, Balenciaga, whatever it is.
Yep.
And that he is able to bring together people of every background, every generation. It's what I do with this book, with the distillery, with everything. And so I'm drawn to that
Yeah.
because I don't get a chance to see that very much, where it's a black person who's unapologetically black,
Right.
but has still figured out how to bring everyone in and for
Mhm.
everyone to feel welcome and a
Yeah.
part of the vision, a part of the story, a part of the testimony. And we don't see that very often.
It's that rare, unique form of humanity that is almost dormant in the world that I feel like it shows its head in certain places. And when it does, people want to discredit it because it feels too
Every
good to be
time.
true. Yeah.
Listen, Martin
Yeah.
Luther King said the most segregated time of the week is Sunday at 11
Sunday.
o'clock. That hasn't changed. So they will continue to try to discredit transformation because it's
Yeah.
literally the only church I know of that's like that. I don't know of a single
Absolutely.
other church in America that's like that.
And I've never seen it done. It's never been done. And so I couldn't agree more. And when you say multi-generational, and my children will sit and watch.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh, our nieces and nephews, my
it's
nieces and
like,
nephews
yeah,
love Pastor Mike.
yeah,
Absolutely, they
yeah.
love it. And
So
they get up
I
and they
do.
dance with the Afro beats and it's so cute to see all those like 60-year-old white people in there dancing the
Yeah.
Afro beats is the best thing to say. Like I highly recommend everybody going to Transformation in Tulsa at least once just to
Yeah.
watch it. Because you're
Yeah.
like, wait, are there, I mean, they're not on rhythm at all, but
But they're in
but
there. there. They're in it.
They are in there, and the effort is 100%.
You can't beat that.
They on
I
1 and
love
3,
that.
we're on 2 and 4, but it doesn't matter. I
That's
think
unity.
it's unity. I think the last person to really do that successfully, really do it successfully, was Berry Gordy.
Oh,
Last one.
yeah. Oh, that's
Because
good
he was
correlation.
like, I am going to do beats on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So
Yeah.
everybody can find their beat on the dance floor. And when you go
Yeah.
back and you see that footage of when Motown was rolling out, and you had American Bandstand, like you had two very different, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
everybody was coming together
Yeah.
because Barry figured out a way to get the beat to hit on 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's absolutely brilliant.
That is super genius. And I've never even considered that. But that is that bridge, that unifier in music that changed the world. I
Yep.
love that.
Yep.
Okay, we've gotten all the way to Transformation Church. I want to tap on, and I promise you we're getting to this book, but I have to tap into you being a CEO, a woman in business who travels the world, who touches lives around the world, who also loves and enjoys and endears her husband. I want to recognize and honor that because it is
21
very,
years. This ain't
come
new.
on.
This ain't
It's
done.
like,
Our marriage is full grown. Like our
I
marriage
love it.
is
I love
able
it.
to drink at this point.
So a cup of Uncle Nearest to celebrate.
Listen,
Because
listen.
when you see that, I'm married 18 years, love him all day. My number one, that's my dude. When I look around and I look to people to see women who love and respect their husband, it's very hard to find.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's one of the things. My first book was the Happy Wives Club.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I found with the women who I was interviewing, and everyone who I interviewed, I interviewed the couples, and it was happily married 25 years or more. And what I would specifically look for were people not on social media, not out there, but people who the community said, I want that marriage. And then what I would do is I would ask their kids, because
Mhm.
you can portray something externally, but
Yeah,
your kids gonna tell on you every time, especially your
every
grown
time.
kids, right? And so those who had kids who wanted their marriage, that's who I went, and I traveled around the world, and I went to 12 different countries, interviewed people on 6 different continents from every background you can imagine, from Indian marriages to, and there were 12 common denominators. But one of the things that struck me is every woman was incredibly strong. I
Mhm.
mean, these
Mhm.
were not these were not independent women, they were interdependent women in these marriages. But you could tell by themselves they'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was important to me because I'm seeing these women who are incredibly strong, built something out of nothing. But then when you see them around, when their husbands would come around, they turn into absolute mush. And
Mhm.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was so amazing to watch that, to see
Yeah.
that that really is something. I think a lot of women, especially as we continue on in life and we continue to climb the ladder of business and success, at some point we get convinced that we have to do it, and we've got to be like, I mean, I don't mean the neck roll, but I don't know any
Yeah.
better way to do it than the neck
Right.
roll. And that we've got to be like, well, we don't need him, we don't need no man, and we need to, and the ability to be vulnerable in your household, even
Mm.
while you are fully in charge in the boardroom.
Mhm.
The person I am at home is not the person you're going to negotiate across the table from me in a boardroom. And
Mhm.
they should not be the same.
Right. Right.
So I am able, they're facets of, it's not, I'm not one of those people who has like, I could be one way, one place and another place. And like, I don't have a pretend in me.
Right.
So, but we're all meant to be multifaceted human beings.
Yes.
That means a certain part of you can be in one situation, another part of you can be in another situation. And around my husband, I am a doting wife. I absolutely adore him. The other morning I woke up and I thought he had already left to go into the office, and it was a rare time. It was on Saturday, I think. It was a rare time that I actually could be up and wake up a little late, and so it was maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you, if there had been cameras in this house, they would have thought for real, we make this stuff up, because I saw him And I just started jumping up and down like a little kid because I thought he had already left. And I was like, does this mean we get to have coffee together? Like we get to have our time together? And
Yes.
and so I'm able to just be all of me with him.
Ooh.
And I think that a lot of women are, because of prior hurts that they carry in, and because of backup plans, because of that, they can't be their whole selves
Yes.
around their spouses. And for me, I don't have a backup plan. There's no plan B, distraction plan A. And so I'm able to be all in.
Mm-hmm.
And he trusts me to like he trusts me more than anything in the world, including himself, because I've proven it, and vice versa. So yeah, I just
Mm-hmm.
I'm really fortunate. I'm really grateful, but I will also tell you, I chose well. We have the responsibility
Yeah.
in who we choose as a partner. So when people are complaining about their spouses, and you just kind of go,
Yeah.
yeah, so you had so many people to choose from. You chose them.
The world. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
You're not limited to the US. Catch a flight. Go wherever you want to go in the
They're
world. There's
everywhere.
some fine men in Puerto Rico. Like, what you have so many choices.
Yeah.
You chose this one person. Why?
Yep.
And so I think also taking responsibility for the choice being yours
Mm-hmm.
is important.
It is. It is so that you are empowered to do better the
Yeah.
next time or in that same scenario. If you want to choose, I have learned, Fawn, that I feel like people they say they want love, but they really want the security of a person, of
Yeah.
companionship. And it's because love requires effort, intention,
Oh,
presence, connection, vulnerability. And if you can't offer those in a love relationship, there will be no love.
love requires putting down your life
Woo!
for someone else. That's what it really, when you're talking
Truthfully.
about love and marriage, it's every day. You are checking your ego at the door every day. You are leaving pride on the front porch,
Yes.
and you're coming as your whole vulnerable self and
Yeah.
saying, this is who I am, embrace me, love me, and protect me.
Yes.
And it's not just women who are saying protect me. Really, truly, men are too. We just
Yes.
ignore that most of the time. I
Yeah.
don't.
Mm.
But I think a lot of times we think, a man, he's in a protector role. So are we.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to accept that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Do you think that your respect and honor for your father plays a role in how you're able to love Keith?
I think my forgiveness of my father plays a
Mm.
role in how I'm able to love Keith. Because I left home when I was 15, and I didn't have a
Yes.
great relationship with
Okay.
my father.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned is when people don't forgive another person, they tend to attract what they did not forgive. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't attracting his weaknesses. And so I decided not only would I forgive him, but I would also fully abdicate him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is, I don't consider it his responsibility to have raised me a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as, you know, he did the best he could with
Yeah.
what he knew
Yeah.
and the time he had and the abilities that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so grateful for
Mm-hmm.
what he did give. Hard stop.
That's good.
I never go back and rehash, well, he could have done it this way. He could have taught me this. He could have been available. Never. It
Mm-hmm.
is, he did the best with what he had. And I'm so grateful. Hard stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what has allowed me to love my husband as I
Another great choice. Forgiveness.
do.
Forgiveness. Ultimate choice. Love and forgiveness pair. They
I,
pair.
yeah, I'm a real big fan of self accountability over all things.
Mm-hmm.
So, no matter what happens in life, there's a role that we play. And
Mm-hmm.
if we get to that faster
Mm-hmm.
and we don't do a whole lot of woe is me, our ability to get to the next level, so much, I mean, we can just move to it.
Yeah.
But so many people say, well, this person should have taught me this, and this person should have embraced this, and this person is like, okay, oh, okay. So you gonna hang out there for how much longer
Yeah.
before you accept your role in it?
Yeah.
And then say, with my role, I'm going to move forward and do it differently. How long before you do that? And so people
Mm.
who I hear stuck complaining about their parents or someone else who hurt them or all the rest of the stuff, their traumas, and just take the damn trauma with you.
Keep going. Eventually it falls
Just
off.
it does.
Yeah.
It does. It's a little bit like, I mean, it sounds funny, but this is the best way I can describe it. Six pack abs has always been a thing for me. So I always do my 100 sit ups. It's like, I don't play with that.
Mhm.
But the thing is I don't care about my back. I don't see my back.
Yeah.
However, my back is strong because it's a requirement
Mhm.
for my six pack.
Mhm. That's
So
good.
it's a little bit of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to focus on the trauma. It's going to deal with itself
Mhm.
if you just focus on the healing and moving forward and forgiving everyone. Because forgiveness is not for that person, it's for you. That's
Mhm.
a part of what lets you let it drop off and fall
Yeah.
off of you, is that forgiveness hard stop,
Yeah.
not a but. Like the moment you put a but in there, you somewhat negated what you just
Yep.
said before the but.
That's absolutely the truth. You open the door to all the things that we're trying to remove or eradicate, eliminate.
Yeah.
So true. Okay. Quick message that you would say to Keith. What would you say to Keith right now? What's your
Oh,
heart
listen,
saying right now?
listen. He about to walk through the door in a minute, and I listen. He's just he is the person who I respect, adore, admire more than anybody else in the world. But
Mhm.
here's the beauty of it is he doesn't have to watch this to hear this. I tell him every day.
Yeah. That's it. He's living in it. He's living
Yeah,
in it.